What does it feel like drinking alcohol on naltrexone when you're following the Sinclair method? I did this treatment protocol for a year, so I drank on naltrexone for a year, and I want to talk about what that experience is like. I want to first talk about what it's like for our brain when we're drinking without naltrexone. Anyone who has any level of alcohol use disorder can relate with the fact that once we start drinking, it's very hard to stop. Like, we're not those people that can have one or two and just effortlessly call it a night, switch to tea or coffee, and go to bed. Our brain gets in like hyperactive mode when we have alcohol use disorder, and that one drink, you're already thinking about the second, the third, the fourth, and so on, and there's no off switch. We just keep drinking until we pass out or blackout, and if we are able to moderate, it's usually an act of willpower and we're forcing it. And I know for me, I would just feel really annoyed and irritated that I had to stop drinking and cut myself off sooner than what I really wanted to. Now, drinking on naltrexone completely changes that over time. In the simplest terms, what it does is it starts to give you an off switch around alcohol, meaning helping you stop sooner and drink less, because it's muting some of the rewarding effects from alcohol. Now, it's not totally eliminating the reward. I personally enjoyed to drink more on naltrexone because I started to have my control back again when I would drink on this protocol. So I would take naltrexone, I would wait an hour, I could kind of feel it sinking in and doing something in my brain. And then when I would consume alcohol, it's like it just didn't hit in the same way, to where, my first few sips before I was on naltrexone, it would just be this like firework experience in my brain where I was like, oh yeah, that's good. Like, is there enough alcohol here? Let's keep the party going. With naltrexone, it slowed that down, and it was kind of like, and this progressed over time. It wasn't always super obvious. Some days I could still drink more on naltrexone and other days not so much. But it was kind of like when you drink a Coca-Cola or a cup of coffee or something, you drink it, you're enjoying it, you're glad you're having it, but you're not like chugging it and chasing that buzz. So it really started to slow me down because the reward from the alcohol just didn't feel as euphoric. And so I noticed this change probably within the first week or two I was on the method. I could see something was different. But as I progressed, throughout the year on the treatment, it just seemed like naltrexone continued to work better and better. I started the treatment as someone who was drinking 7 days a week. I could easily drink a bottle of wine every night. Typically, I'd be pulling shots behind my husband's back, like a whiskey I had stashed away, or I'd open up a second bottle, or I'd day drink all day. So I started the treatment drinking a lot every single day. And as I progressed, I just noticed my drinking gradually decreasing. I was no longer able to finish a bottle of wine anymore after a couple months. And I was having more alcohol-free days and, just having a glass or two of wine and being done. And so it was this gradual progression of my alcohol reducing over time. But like I often talk about, it wasn't just the naltrexone, because what naltrexone did for me is it helped my brain stop seeing alcohol as this primary reward. But then there was like this void left. It's like, okay, well, if I'm not going to be drinking tonight, what else am I going to do? If I have a stressful day and alcohol doesn't really sound very good today, how else am I going to cope? Especially because I no longer wanted to be somebody who felt like I needed to turn to alcohol every time life got stressful. So it was this process of, yes, drinking on naltrexone and following the protocol, but also being really strategic with how I spent my alcohol-free time, trying out new hobbies. Honestly, drinking was my hobby and my passion and my purpose for 10 years, as sad as that is to say, it's true. And so I didn't even know what I liked to do with my alcohol-free time. So it was this process of rediscovering who I was, what I like to do, how I could cope with stress and things like that. And so that's why I'm always talking to people about, meeting the medication halfway, and why we have the program we have at Thrive, because it really provides people with the courses and the content that's going to guide you through the protocol. Keep reminding yourself why you're doing this by just learning new techniques and reframing how you think about your relationship with alcohol. That's helping your brain change. That's helping you change habits and create new coping skills. You're also plugging into community so that you can connect with others who've either done the treatment or on the other side, or who are going through it themselves alongside you. And then coaching. You have access to coaches who are certified and trained at this treatment and can, walk you through it, talk you through it, give you guidance, reflect back to you what you're going through. So drinking on naltrexone absolutely changes the drinking experience. It's a game changer. Like, I would not be where I am today without this medication. It fully healed my brain over the course of a year. I became totally free from my alcohol addiction. But I also like to remind people that it's more than just the medication. So if you are considering this medication or you're on the treatment, please reach out to us. We would love to help. We specialize in the Sinclair Method in our private online program. Bye for now.